Hello, welcome back to my channel. So hopefully you guys liked my first video. This video is going to be different from that one. I tried to record a makeup tutorial yesterday. Still learning the gist of it. Next week, I'm going to be recording on my camera. So the reason why this video is a little bit different is because I had a hard time trying to figure out what idea to do. I can't really do a makeup tutorial in this camera view, but I figured why not talk a little bit of my manga collection, my Junji Ito books, also some anime books as well. So let's get started. So I'm going to start with some Junji Ito books that I have and just talking each of them, what I liked about it, and in hopes that maybe someone who watches my videos can be like, oh, that's super interesting. I'm going to talk about his like smaller story books. These three right here. And the first one I want to start off is my favorite one, is Yon and New. So Junji Ito basically wrote a manga about his two cats. I love this book so much. It has a lot of his creepy illustrations, but it's cute at the same time. Super cute. Yeah, basically how he first met these two cats. Him and his wife decided to adopt them. So he adopted Yoon first, which is this cat over here, and then later adopted Mew. He explains how he was naturally a dog person. When he met Yoon and Mew, he fell in love with them. So I'm going to show a little bit inside. I don't want to like spoil it too much. I mean, creepy, but also hilarious at the same time. He talks about how Yoon has a particular pattern on his fur. So it has like a skull on his fur. Super cute. If you are a cat lover, or if you just love cute, creepy things, I really suggest this book. It's really adorable. Next book I want to talk about is this book, The Dissolving Classroom. I'm not gonna spoil it too much about this book. So we have two main characters. We have Yama and Kiko. They're brother and sister. They're a very interesting pair. It's basically a story about the weird things that they do. So I will show you a little bit inside. Super grotesque, super nasty, but this is a really great, fun story to digest in. Literally. No, I'm just joking, but definitely a good recommendation. So, The Dissolving Classroom. Another short story book that he did, Junji Ito, it is the Fragments of Horror. But if you noticed, it has like a interesting like cover art. This book is not like the other two. These ones have short stories in them. The one short story I can really recommend, it is my favorite Junji Ito story. It is called The Gentle Goodbye. It's not creepy like his other stories. It's not grotesque. It's not like scary, but it does have a really deep meaning into it. The story talks about a young woman named Riko and how she has a terrible fear of losing her father. One thing is that her father has been in her life for as long as she can remember, and she meets a guy, marries into the family, and notice that the family practice a particular skill. It's super interesting, still has some supernatural intake with a lot of Junji Ito stories, but the ending, not very Junji Ito, but it's very, to me, very powerful, very touching. Actually, every time I read this story, I start tearing up because it's very close to home. I really recommend reading this story, but of course, really recommend this book. So, I'm going to be talking about 3 big series that he's very known for. I'll start with the smallest one and then work my way up. But this one is called Gaio. It says the death stench creeps. That's a little bit about it. Short synopsis. Basically, these 2 couple go on a vacation somewhere around an island in Japan. They happen to come upon a weird creature of some sort. So they start investigating, but turns out that creature is not the friendly type. This series is very grotesque. If you're very sensitive to disgusting body fluids, parasites, all that stuff, this is not for you. But if you're into like grotesque, gory horror, this is your book. I mean, basically, that's what you're getting into, so great book. The second biggest one is called Uzumaki. And not Uzumaki Naruto. No. This is a very popular Junji Ito story. Uzumaki means spiral. This is a very interesting story. I really love the story in this book. For anybody who asks me, oh, what do you recommend for horror, anime, horror mangas, I always tell them Uzumaki. Short synopsis of Uzumaki is that it is based on a town that gets cursed by an unusual entity. It focuses on 2 main characters, boyfriend and girlfriend. Everything that this entity grabs onto, it just literally spirals out of control. The art here is just amazing. One popular image of Junji Ito's illustration is, of course, this one. If people who have been wondering where have they seen this image, it's this book. So Uzumaki, must read. We're going to go to the last of the series, the popular series that Junji Ito was very known for. And this one is my favorite, and that is Tomie. What is there I can say about Tomie? This is just the epitome of bad bitch. Bad bitch vibes. This is about a unique female, has a very special aura about her. Spoiler alert, Tomie is a succubus. For those who don't know, a succubus is a female demon who has sex with men and then afterwards kills them. I feel like Jennifer's Body was inspired by Tomie just a little bit. Tomie is that female that you love to hate, but you want her to be your friend. Men want to be with her. They literally go crazy for her to the point where they kill her, dismember her. But women who despised her secretly want to be her. I'm not joking when I said that I love Tomie, because I have a tattoo of Tomie. So there you go. That's Tomie right there. Literally, love her. Bad bitch, 100%. Icon, really. icon. I definitely recommend this if you love femme fatale books. It is 11 out of 10 for me. 100 out of 10 actually, so definitely buy this one. So the next 3 books I'm going to be talking about, it's like the Fragments of Horror book, meaning that it has a lot of short stories in these 3 books. I recommend them if you don't like long series, you just like short horror stories. So I'm going to start with one that I just bought a while ago, which is called Venus in the Blind Spot. Recent one that he recently wrote. This one has about 10 short stories. There is one particular one that stands out to me, the Army of One, which the American version is called Billions Alone, sorry. Basically, what I can say about Army of One, it's about a certain particular trend, billions of people attaching themselves to one another. It gets really gnarly. Definitely recommend. This one is the next short story from Junji Ito. It's called Smashed. Love the cover. So this one has about 13 short stories in here. One story I can really recommend from this book is called I Don't Want to Be a Ghost. I can relate. As you see from the cover, quite gruesome. It's about a gentleman who saves a unusual woman from certain danger, as he thought she was. Turns out she has a unique craving for a certain being. If you're into ghost stories, I don't want to be a ghost. So, smash. So this book, I actually have a personal story with this book. Not the stories in the book, but the actual book itself. 4 years ago, I was dating this guy, and for Christmas, he bought me Shiver, Junji Ito's book. After we broke up, I still had the book. And every time I would see it, I would be reminded of him. And I thought, heck no, I'm not going to keep this book anymore. So what did I do? I sold it. I sold it for cheap. Real cheap, because that's how much that a-hole meant. I think my ex paid $22 for. I think I sold it for about $10. Brand new. Only read it once. I was so happy to get rid of it. And so what did I end up doing? I ended up buying this book. Relationships. So, Shiver has a lot of great stories. For some reason it has Tomie in the front. She doesn't have a story in the book. But it's okay. So one story I can recommend from this book that can get you into getting the book, it's called Hanging Blimp. But the Japanese version is called Hanging Balloons, as you can see. Very intriguing. So it's about a young girl whose friend tragically dies. However, in a couple of days after the death, her village and herself start seeing a familiar floating image. Turns out it's the friend. Then they start seeing a lot of other people who have died and seeing their floating image. I don't want to spoil the story that much. Once you start reading about the story, you're going to be like, I'm hooked. Get yourself Shiver. Great book. So this book is a one series book, but this book particularly, it is a recreation of another book with the same title, No Longer Human, by Osamu Dazai. So it's about a giant named Yozo Aba, or Obo, sorry. Fair warning if you don't like those types of stories. heavily about suicide, mental illness, depression, and even sexual assault. What I will say about this book is that once you start reading it, you don't want to put the book down. Again, fair warning, it does talk about very, very touchy subjects, so, but again, no longer human, if you're interested. The last book, it's not really a book though, it's a very special book to me. One being is that it has Junji Ito's artwork. I love his artwork so much. It's creepy, it's grotesque, it's haunting. Beautiful works of art. It is Junji Ito's artwork book. So I got this book from Complex Con 3 years ago when they had their first Complex Con in Chicago. And this one is the Japanese release version. It does not have any English translation, all Japanese, but I love it because that means it's authentic. I mean, and has really interesting ones, of course. No, please. This is a very precious item. Very precious book. I will never sell it in my life. I will never sell the rest of my Junji Ito collection as well. This one is just, I can't say enough about it. It's just gorgeous. That is all of my Junji Ito collection. I still have a few more other items. These are more picture books, and there's one manga book as well. I'm gonna get into the picture books. And so I do have 2 Miyazaki books, Studio Ghibli picture books. So I have My Neighbor Totoro and Spirited Away. Like I said, they're picture books, so they're gonna have pictures from the movie. Story time. Spirited Away is my favorite Studio Ghibli movie. When it first came out in theaters in 2004, I was about 13, and my grandmother took me to see it in theaters. I don't know if she knew I wanted to see it. I don't really remember if I told her, but for some reason, I feel like she knew that I wanted to see it. So we went to a theater over in the south side of Chicago, and we loved the movie. The colors were vivid. You were so intrigued with the world of Spirited Away. And unfortunately, a year after my grandmother died from leukemia, still to this day, when I see Spirited Away, I get very emotional. I can't help but tear up because she was a great part of my life. She is such an amazing role model. Actually, trying to find someone to commission a Studio Ghibli Spirited Away style of me and her when I was a baby. And I want to put that in a tattoo for me, dedicated to my grandmother. I have like this plan. I want to put like the suit spirits around us, and it's just, I'm still looking for that commission, looking for somebody who does really great Studio Ghibli style, or like a tattoo artist who does those styles in general. Yeah, Spirited Away has a very, very special place in my heart. So the last few books I'm going to be mentioning, they are a series, 2 of them being picture books from the series, but this series in particular, it is the only series that I will keep forever and ever, and even the pages of these books are turning old because I've had them for so long. I've had them for about maybe 13 years. a little bit longer than that. But that series is Angel Sanctuary. This series is crazy. It's very mystical, but very adult. I first started reading this when I was in 7th, 8th grade. And the two main characters of this book are brother and sister, and they're in love. They have a sexual romance relationship, and they are blood-related siblings. I don't really pay attention to that. I pay attention to the artwork, which is from Kairi Yuki. I'm sorry if I'm butchering. I just want to apologize in advance if I butchered any names from earlier, but especially hers because I love her artwork. And she has a few other series, one being the Cane books, and she has another series as well. I can't put my mind to it, but this being her popular one. This is the first series, the first volume. I have all of them, so it's 20 volumes. I've collected them. Like I said earlier, that these books are really old, that the pages are turning like that brown color. That old book brown color. And it has that smell too. But I love this series. I mean, even just the cover inside is just like, wow. A short review summary of this book. It's about Setsuna, the gentleman main character. He is a reincarnation of a celestial angel named Alexiel. Basically, the angels in heaven are very corrupt, and the demons from a royal family of hell are trying to bring back Alexiel by doing a ritual with Setsuna, being that he is the reincarnation of that angel. It is very adult, high sexual things in it. Not really like nudity or anything like that. It does touch on biblical characters. It's very 90s. The fashion is very 90s. The technology is very 90s. This is the only series of mangas that, one, I kept. Other ones that I've had when I was younger, I've donated them. You can't get this at Barnes & Noble or any book stores that have manga in them. You can get the series from Amazon, and I think you can get it from Viv Media as well. But I bought these for $10 each. And I think Amazon, they sell them for $14 now. I know from like years from now, they're gonna cost a lot of money. If you can find them online, like the stories, I highly recommend it. And the last two are from the artworks of that series. Angel Cave, right here. So actually I made a mistake here. It's actually Angel Cage, not Angel Cave. So my mistake. Very beautiful, as you can see. And this being Lost Angel. I bought this a while ago. So I bought this when it first came out. This one I bought a year or two ago. As you can see, it has all the gang from the series. So yeah, that's going to conclude all of my Junji Ito collection and manga or short manga collections that I've had, also / anime picture books as well. I hope you enjoy this video. Please give this a like. Please subscribe if you like my videos. If you want to comment your favorite manga series / anime series, I would really love to get to know about that. Please be safe, please love one another, and I will see you next time.